Hey everyone, Ben Nelson here. We are talking to Grant at Movement Mortgage again, just bringing you more of that education just to make sure that you are making good decisions when you are buying a home. And Grant, thanks for being here again with me today. Today we're going to talk about 3 ways to minimize down payment needs because I think this is a big misconception for a lot of buyers is they think they have to save up this huge down payment before they can even consider buying a home, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to do that out of your own financial decisions, that's different. But you should at least know what your options are, right? Absolutely. So let's talk about that. Let's jump into the different ways you can minimize those down payments. We got 3, right? Did I ever say that?
Yeah, three big ways to minimize your down payment needs. There are different loan programs specifically tailored to minimum down payments, where 0, 3, 3.5% down. You specifically have,
so like VA, right?
If you are a veteran, yes, that was the first place I was going, where the VA loan is the best loan solution out there, as it should be for our veterans, where you can put 0% down, you have no mortgage insurance on your loan, interest rates are sharper than a conventional or FHA alternative. And it's, whether you want to buy 0% on a single family home or you want to go house hack and you want to buy a 2, 3, 4 unit property, use those rents to qualify, still be at 0% down with the VA loan. That's one of my favorite tools to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but VA is not the only one, right?
Not the only one. No. You better, of course, to utilize a VA loan.
Yes.
But you have FHA loans you can put as little as 3.5% down. But there are also down payment assistance programs that you can get 3.5% to cover that down payment. So you're at 0, or you can get up to 5% down payment assistance to go cover your closing costs as well. The other alternative, many people think, hey, with a conventional loan, you have to put 5% down. That is not the case. If you are a first-time home buyer, you can put as little as 3% down on a conventional loan. There are also down payment assistance programs that you can pair with that, getting 3, 4% down in that example.
Yeah. And first-time home buyer, by the way, just to clarify that, it's not necessarily you've never bought a house before. Is that correct?
So if someone, first-time home buyer is defined as someone who has not owned a home in the last 3 years. But many of these programs, whether 3.5 FHA, it's a common misconception. People think, FHA is first-time home buyer loan. Well, you do not have to be a first-time buyer. It can be your second purchase. You're moving across the country, buying another property. You can use 3.5% down. You can even use 0% down with like a movement boost loan, which is FHA at its core. Certainly unpack that at a later time. Good opportunity to sit down and go through that depending on someone's specific situation. But still being conventional on your second home, you could put 5% down. Many options to find a down payment and a monthly payment that fits your scenario.
Yeah, and I think so. 2 things. I think for sure, if you've never bought a home before, I think there's a big misconception of down payment requirements.
Yeah.
But I think even more so when you've already maybe use that and you think, I've used up my, low down purchase option. No. Like there's still options for low down, even if you are buying a second home. Absolutely. Or a third home, or, I guess you have to speak to, I don't think there's any limitations on that at a certain point. As long as you're a resident. So
you could buy 7, 8, 9, 10 properties on a conventional loan with as little as just 5% down each. So that's something we've done personally as we've bought properties. So
so you can continue to use that low down option for your personal residence. It's not like it doesn't go away or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? So awesome. That's a great.
So it's like it's your second purchase. You don't have to. You don't have to put 20, 30% down. There are ways to optimize for that. So.
Absolutely. Great. What's number 2?
The second one specifically is gift funds. There's a lot of questions around taxes, around loans. There are no limitations from a loan perspective on the amount of a gift. We see this a lot, whether it's a parent, grandparent. If you want to use those funds specifically for a home purchase, there's not a restriction on that, where we can use those for your down payment, we can use them for closing costs. In the current environment, a lot of our Gen Z and millennial buyers are receiving gifts from their parents or some form of help to buy their home. That's a great option.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah. To have that conversation with them when you're going through the pre-approval process. I know monthly payment is very important to our first-time buyers. And the last thing I want someone to be is house poor when they move to a house. Yeah. I want someone to set someone up for success when they buy their home and beyond. But many times, having a larger down payment can be of help of a parent. That gives you more flexibility with your options. So
absolutely.
Gift funds are a great one.
Yeah, gift funds are great. Not everybody has that, benefit necessarily, but if it is, don't don't be shy. Ask, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The last one of the three is retirement funds. So whether someone has a 401k, you have an IRA, a Roth IRA, now I'm not a CPA, it's not tax advice. You want to consult with a CPA, but you can use $10,000 without penalty, without taxes for your first-time home purchase from a Roth IRA, from a traditional IRA. Also, many employer plans. If you have a vested balance, there are ways to take a loan, pay yourself back, or withdraw those funds. There's multiple different options depending on your plan provider. But that can be a great option. You put money away pre-tax or post-tax in retirement vehicles. That can still help facilitate your home purchase if that's what you want.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of people just don't think about that as an option because they don't maybe realize that they can get to it. I think it's one of the big.
I feel like it's untouchable.
Yeah. Now, again, you want anytime you're using retirement funds, you want to use it strategically, right? We're not assuming that role here as financial advisors, but to at least know it's there and to be able to consider it is a big part of that. Now,
I have something to go through with. I mean, I always encourage people if they feel like they're short on liquid funds and a checking savings, accessible funds. It's like, hey, talk with your plan provider at your company, or talk with your CPA, just to explore those options. Have those other tools in your toolbox. When you find that perfect home you really love, the payment seems a little bit high, that can be another option to make that purchase more comfortable, make that payment fit your lifestyle, your budget.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, just knowing what's available first of all, so you can put it as part of your decision-making process. And you may decide not to use it, but at least you know what your options are. And then another thing that I tell people is, like, I'm not going to ever tell somebody to hey, you should take this money out and take the penalty.
Yeah,
that's not my job to tell you what to do and whether you should. But what I always do tell people is you should at least look at all of your options and then make a strategic decision. So, and I talk to a lot of times, this is maybe more investment conversations, but just if I do this, then I have to pay the capital gains or I need to pay a penalty. That may be true, but you don't want to completely disqualify it just because of that. You may still do that. You may still say that, well, it doesn't make sense to pay the penalty. But you don't want to stop the thought process there. You want to at least move to the next step and say, okay, yeah, well, I would pay this, but then I'd be able to do this. What does that look like if I can do that, right? So, again, not telling anybody to pay those penalties, or you have to make your own decision on that. But at least, take that thought process all the way through.
That's why it's so important to start the process early. Sitting down with a mortgage advisor, going through a free consultation, understanding, hey, these are your savings, these are your assets that you have access to. Just starting that conversation, laying the foundation early on, so you can go and talk to the right professional. You can talk to a retirement or financial advisor. You can talk to a CPA. Knowing those options, like you said, Ben, even if you don't utilize those, like I never advise someone to pay the taxes, pay the penalties, but just understanding your options. Because one of the things we talk about with setting someone up for success, not only finding the monthly payment that fits your budget, but also, like, if someone tells me, hey, I have $25,000 to put towards a home. Okay, does that include you have emergency reserves beyond that? Is that everything? Because the last thing I want someone to feel is house poor. Where, okay, if you have 25, maybe we want to keep that to 15 or 17. When you move into your house, your moving expenses, like, I want to set someone up for success where they feel like they have that buffer.
Yeah.
But also understanding how you can, whether you use it for your home purchase or not, understanding how you can access a retirement account, an IRA, a 401k. It's part of your financial fortress, and understanding how you can use that to your advantage is very important. Whether you bought a home or you're thinking about buying a home, it's good to have that in your back pocket.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and I think you just kind of hit on a big point in there too, is like, again, we're not financial advisors, but we are advisors, right? We want to make sure everybody has the information that they need to be able to make the right decision. And so we do advise, but we're not going to tell you what to do with your finances, but we're going to give you all your options, and we're going to
information and education.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, our goal is not, I don't want to just sell you a house and Grant doesn't want to just give you a loan, because we want you to be happy, number one, and we want you to refer your friends and family to us and come back to us again, and all of those things. We just want you to make the right decision, but we also understand that if we're not doing our job, then you're you're never going to call us again if we don't want that. So, or you're going to call us and yell at us,
Everything we do with our businesses is word of mouth referral. I mean,
Yeah.
it's relationships that are built on trust.
Yeah.
We want to take excellent care of our clients. We are here to help serve them as clients for life. And vast majority, when they come back to us to help them, or they refer a friend and family member, like that is the greatest compliment. That's what we strive for, and that's why we do business differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Grant, appreciate it again. We'll continue to do these just to make sure that everyone's getting educated and knows their options and those sorts of things. If you're looking to buy a home, first time home purchase or a move up or investment properties, we love working with investors. Reach out. Our contact information is below. If you call me first, probably I'm just going to direct you to Grant because that's where you need to just start the process typically. But I would love to connect with you. So whether you reach out to me or to Grant, we'd love to connect and help you get where you're going.